Chapter 49. Thrym! Suddenly, taking the road to Helheim didn't sound so bad. No wonder Thrym's lair had seemed so familiar to me when I saw it through the pickle jar glass in my dream. The place was a near-perfect replica of the Bull and Finch pub, the inspiration for the old TV show Cheers. Because it was across from the public garden, I'd been to the pub a few times when I was homeless, to get warm on a bitter winter's day, or beg a hamburger from the patrons. The place was always full and rowdy, and somehow it made perfect sense to me that there would be an Earth Giant equivalent. As we rolled in, a dozen giants at the bar turned in our direction and raised their mead glasses. "Samra!" they cried in unison. More giants crowded the tables and booths, eating burgers and swilling mead. Most of the patrons were a little bit larger than Thringa. They were dressed in a riot of tuxedo pieces, fur, and armor that made my own outfit look positively understated. I scanned the room, but saw no sign of Loki or my Uncle Randolph. I wasn't sure whether to be relieved or worried. At the far end of the bar, on a simple wooden throne under the big screen TV, sat the Earth Giant King himself, Thrym, son of Thrym, son of Thrym. "At last!" he bellowed in his walrus voice. The king rose unsteadily. He bore such an uncanny resemblance to Norm from the TV show, I wondered if he'd got paid residuals. His body was perfectly round, stuffed into black polyester pants and a red t-shirt with a wide black tie. Fuzzy dark hair framed his moon face. He was the first giant I'd ever seen without facial hair, and I really wished he would grow some. His mouth was wet and pink. His chin was pretty much non-existent. His voracious eyes fixed on Alex as if she were a luscious plate of cheeseburgers. "My queen has arrived!" Thrym patted his ample belly. "We can begin the festivities." "Brother, you haven't even changed yet," yelled Thringa. "And why is this place so filthy? I told you to clean up while I was gone." Thrym frowned. "What do you mean? We did clean up. We put on ties." "Ties!" yelled the crowd of giants. "You worthless scoundrels!" Thringa picked up the nearest stool and cracked it over the head of a random giant, who collapsed in a heap. "Turn off the television! Clean that counter! Sweep that floor! Wipe your faces!" She wheeled on us. "Sorry about these idiots. I'll get them ready in no time." "Yeah, that's fine," I said, dancing the I need to pee dance. "Actually, restrooms? Right down the hall there," Thringa pointed. "Leave the chariot. I'll make sure no one eats your goats." I helped Sam and Alex out of the chariot, and we shuffled through the chaos, dodging mops and brooms and smelly giants, while Thringa moved through the crowd, shouting at her patrons to get ready for today's happy occasion quickly, or she would rip their heads off. The restrooms were located in the back, just where they would have been in Cheers. Fortunately, the area was empty except for one giant who was passed out and snoring in the corner booth, his face resting on a platter of nachos. "I'm confused," Alex said. "Why is this Cheers?" "A lot of elements bleed through from Boston to the other worlds," Sam said. "Like Nidvillier looked like Southie," I said, "and Alfheim looks like Wellesley." Alex shuddered. "Yeah, but I have to get married and Cheers." "Talk later," I said. "Pee now." "Yep," the girls said in unison. Being a guy and not burdened by a wedding dress, I finished first. A few minutes later, the girls reappeared, a tail of toilet paper trailing from the hem of Alex's gown. I doubted any of the giants would have noticed or cared, but Sam removed it for her. "You think our friends made it inside?" I asked. "I hope so," Alex said. "I'm so nervous. Ugh!" The last syllable sounded like a bear choking on a Tootsie Roll. I checked the corner booth to make sure the giant hadn't heard it. He just muttered in his sleep and turned his head on his corn chip pillow. Sam patted Alex's shoulder. "It's okay." She faced me. Alex turned into a gorilla in the bathroom. "She'll be fine." What? "It happens," Sam said, "with shapeshifters. If you get nervous and lose focus." Alex belched. "I'm better. I think I'm back to human now. Wait." She shimmied in her dress like she was trying to dislodge a pebble. "Yeah, all good." I didn't know if she was being serious or not. I wasn't sure I wanted to know. "Alex, if you accidentally change shape while you're out there among the giants..." "I won't," she promised. "Just keep silent," Sam told her. "You're supposed to be a shy, blushing bride. I'll do the talking. Follow my lead. We'll stall as long as possible." Hopefully that'll give our friends enough time to get in position. But where is Loki? I asked. And my uncle. Sam got quiet. Not sure. But we have to keep our eyes peeled. Once we see the ham... There you are! Thringa emerged from the hallway. We are ready for you now. Of course, Sam said. We were just, talking about how much we love ham. We hope there's ham at the feast. I winked at her like smooth. Otis level smooth. Thringa ushered us back to the bar. Judging from the smell, someone had sprayed a copious amount of lemon pledge. Most of the broken glass and food droppings had been swept from the floor. The TV was off, and all the giants were standing against the far wall in a line, their hair combed, their ties straightened, their shirts tucked in. In unison they chanted, "Good afternoon, Miss Semira." Alex curtsied. The real Semira said, "Good afternoon, class. My lady Semira is too overwhelmed to speak, but she is very happy to be here." Alex brayed like a donkey. The giants glanced uncertainly at Thringa for etiquette tips. King Thrym frowned. He'd put on a black tux jacket with a pink carnation pinned to the lapel, which made him look slightly more elegantly ugly. "Why does my bride sound like a donkey?" "She's crying with joy," Sam said quickly, "because she's finally seen her handsome husband." Thrym ran a finger down his many chins. "That makes sense. Come, sweet Semira, sit by me and we will begin the feast." Alex took the chair next to Thrym's throne. Thringa flanked her brother like a bodyguard, so Sam and I stood on the other side of Alex and tried to look official. Our job seemed to consist mostly of not eating, swatting aside the occasional mead mug that accidentally flew in Alex's direction, and listening to our stomachs growl. The first course was nachos. What is it with giants and nachos? Thringa kept grinning at me and eyeing the Skofnug sword, which was still strapped on my back. It was clear that she coveted the blade. I wondered if anyone had told her it couldn't be drawn in the presence of women. I assumed giantesses counted as women. I didn't know what would happen if somebody tried to unsheath the Skofnug, despite its restrictions, but I doubted it would be good. "Try it." Jack's voice hummed in my mind like he was having a pleasant dream. "Oh man, she's so fine." "Go back to sleep, Jack," I told him. The giants laughed and shoveled down nachos, though they kept one eye on Thringa as if making sure she wasn't going to smash them with a bar stool for bad behavior. Otis and Marvin stood at their harnesses right where we'd left them. Occasionally a stray nacho flew in their direction, and one of the goats would snatch it out of the air. Thrym did his best to chat up Alex. She shied away and said nothing. Just to be polite, she snuck an occasional tortilla chip under her veil. "She eats so little," Thrym worried. "Is she all right?" "Oh, yes," Sam said. "She's too excited to have much of an appetite, Your Majesty." Thrym suggested. "Well, at least I know she isn't Thor." "Of course not." Tham's voice went up an octave. "Why would you think that?" "Ages ago, when Thor's hammer was first stolen by my grandfather." "Our grandfather," Thringa corrected, examining the ridges on her lucky chestnut. "Thor came disguised in a wedding dress to get it back." Thrym's wet lips curled inward like he was trying to locate his back teeth. "I remember that day, though I was only a child. The false bride ate the entire ox and drank 2 cases of mead." 3 cases, Thringa said. "Thor could hide his body in a wedding dress," Thrym said, "but he couldn't hide his appetite." The giant smiled at Alex. "But don't worry, Semira, my love. I know you're not a god. I am smarter than my grandfather was." Thringa rolled her huge eyes. "It's my security that keeps out the Aesir, brother. No god could pass through our doors without triggering the alarms." Yes, Thrym said. "At any rate, Semira, you were all magically scanned the moment you came in. You are, as you should be, a child of Loki." He knit his eyebrows. "Although so is your maid of honor." "We're related," said the real Sam. "That's to be expected, isn't it? A close relative often serves as maid of honor." Thrym nodded. "That's true. At any rate, when this wedding is concluded, the house of Thrym shall regain its former stature. My grandfather's failure will be put to rest. We will have a marriage alliance with the house of Loki." He pounded his chest, causing his large belly to ripple, and no doubt drowning entire nations of bacteria in his gut. "I will finally have my revenge." Thringa turned her head, muttering, "I will have my revenge." "What's that, sister?" Thrym demanded. "Nothing." She bared her black teeth. "Let's have a second course, shall we?" The second course was burgers. That really wasn't fair. They smelled so good, my stomach rolled back and forth, throwing a temper tantrum. I tried to distract myself, thinking of the fight to come. Thrym seemed dumb enough. Maybe we could actually beat him. Unfortunately, he was backed up by several dozen earth giants, and his sister worried me. I could tell Thringa had her own agenda. Though she tried to conceal it, every once in a while she would glance at Alex with murderous hatred. I remembered something Heimdall had overheard her say, that they should just kill the bride as soon as she arrived. I wonder how long it would take the Aesir to get here once the hammer was revealed, and whether I could keep Alex alive that long. I wondered where Loki was, and my Uncle Randolph. Finally, the giants finished their meals. Thrym belched loudly and turned to his bride-to-be. "At last, it's time for the ceremony," he said. "Shall we be on our way?" My gut clenched. "On our way? What do you mean?" Thrym chuckled. "Well, we're not doing the ceremony here. That would be rude. The entire wedding party is not present." The king rose and faced the wall opposite the bar. Giants scrambled out of the way, moving their tables and chairs. Thrym thrust out his hand. A wall cracked open, and a new tunnel wormed its way through the earth. The sour, damp air from within it reminded me of something I couldn't quite place. Something bad. "No." Sam sounded as if her throat were closing up. "No, we can't go there." "But we can't have a wedding without the father of the bride," Thrym announced cheerfully. "Come, my friends. My bride and I will say our vows in the cavern of Loki."